Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back to Ironclad RC. I'm Big B. So we got the Swifter XL. Alright, been working on this boat on and off for about a month now. Yeah, just carbon fibered the wings, adjustable rear wing, gyro controlled front canard. We got to get the gyro for it, but we're about to paint it, and I actually need some holes in the hull to hang the boat from when we paint. So I figured we would go ahead and mount, well, basically drill some holes for my hardware. I'm gonna walk you through my throat process. Thing's looking nice, man. That rear wing really sets it off. Totally unnecessary, totally uncalled for, but damn if it don't look good. Spirit of the Navy. Start with the turn fin. Talk about the turn fin, move to rudder and strut, mount the rudder and strut, and then we'll circle back and mount the turn fin. I actually have everything drilled. My nut plate is made for the turn fin. I mean, it's ready to go, ready to be epoxied in. So we're running the Sport 20 Mojo fin, curved. It's actually pretty nice. Get it from Offshore Electrics. And originally, I actually made this turn fin bracket, which I actually like, and it actually works on the boat. It only weighs 24 grams, so the bracket itself is super lightweight, you know, 3/16 of an inch thick, angle 2 inches long, and then the base. Okay, and you know, the more I kept looking at it, I had it mounted on the boat, the more I looked at it, the more I'm like, man, this right here is really bugging me. Like, I made this angle, I kicked it up, you know, when the water's like breaking, this turn fin's grabbing in a turn, I kind of gave it that little bit of up angle, and it would actually divert the water. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, man, I wonder if that's actually going to hinder the performance of my boat in a turn with the water breaking off and diverting basically back onto my boat. And I just kept looking at it. I'm like, man, I just don't like that. I just don't like it. Now, I actually have run my turn fin on the inside, outside of my turn fin bracket on my UL19. I've run on the inside and outside, and I really didn't see no difference. But like, looking at the boat, this looks good. Performance wise, I would think this would work better. Okay, so the drawback to this mount right here is the turn fins like set off away from the spots and transom. You know, like this one, I had it tucked all the way up right onto the spots and transom, which I think would be perfect for this boat. So I made this one, but I made the bolt pattern the same that matches the nut plate. So we'll actually be able to test two different brackets, three different turn fin positions. Okay, so that'll be fun. All right, so this one, it actually cleaned up the inside of the fin, right? Get us a low profile screw and nut, and the water will hit the fin, and we should see a spectacular wall of water off of this fin in a turn. That's what I'm shooting for with this bracket. This one here, not so much. It'll be wah 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 type deal. You know what I'm saying? So this one's 3 inches long. This one's 2 inches long. Okay. This one weighs 30 grams. This one weighs 24. So they're pretty much the same freaking weight. Thicker material. Quarter, 3/16. I shaved a lot of material off here. The thickness of, I think I'm actually gonna take some more off. I want to try to get them the same weight. 24 grams if I can. I want to actually angle it back like this. I don't know if I'll take the time to do it, but it actually looks pretty good, you know. So we're gonna put it on the boat here in just a few, but I wanted to talk about my struts and rudders. Get the strut and rudder mounted on the boat, and then we could put the turn fin bracket on, play with it, and make sure everything looks right and acts right before we get our nut plate on. 2mm thick carbon fiber, another piece of 2mm carbon fiber with a perfectly cut nut hole. Put the nuts in there, thickened epoxy, boom, 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 ready to go. With a hydro build, you get to play, you got options, you got things to choose. So we're actually going to be running the Sport 20. I think this is going to be one of the better choices for your build. I mean, this is the Sport 20 Speedmaster, round bottom. You get a flat bottom option. We got the round, okay. And when you mount your strut on your boat, okay, you actually have options there. Like you can mount it under the hull, like a scale drive. Like Speedmaster sells a larger version of this TFL strut with the extended barrel. You guys see how it's designed? You see how this one, the barrel is like extended forward, and this one has the barrel extended aft. Okay, they sell us a larger version, kind of designed to be mounted under the hull with the adjuster bracket mounted in the hull for strut adjustability. You can run a flex cable with your scale drive. Okay, I thought about doing that because I'm going kind of scale with but I kind of went with performance. I'm not saying you won't get good performance with a scale drive line. You have options is what I'm trying to say. We're going to find center on our hull, mark it, and drill the holes. Boom. I am going to mount the strut bracket a little bit low because I want to put like some type of plate here for like a turnbuckle arrangement to help support my wings. Okay, so I kind of want to mount that low. That being said, we kind of got it just stuck on the boat. You get options with a hydroplane. It's the beauty. You can run your rudder on the right of the propeller, or you can run your rudder to the left of your propeller. Okay, like with a mono hull or V hull, you're kind of forced to run it like to the right or center mounted. Okay, single screw. Counter rotating props, mount your rudder to the right. Mono, it just works. You know, you don't really even question it. You just put the rudder on the right hand side. Now all my larger hydroplanes have a rudder mounted on the left, and it just works. Most of the 8th scale hydroplane guys, they run their rudder to the left. Okay, now on some of my smaller hydroplanes, I have the rudder mounted on the right, and it works just the same. So really like mounting your rudder to the left, and the pivot point, which in a turn, your pivot point is going to be your turn fin. So mounting the rudder to the left actually somewhat, I want to say it tightens the boat up in a turn, but it also tends to, well, to me mounting it on the left, it tightens it up in a turn, but it also gives it like a more of a like a whip, like the back of the boat kind of whips out more so than with it does with a rudder mounted on the right. No. So this is actually the rudder that come with the boat. Okay, it had this it had this center mounted strut, center mounted rudder. Okay, so basically the setback, I mean, with this bracket and my Speedmaster rudder, it just really wouldn't work. It was really far set back, so I made me a bracket here. Okay, we're doing away with the strut bracket, and I shortened it up about a ½ inch. You guys see that? Okay, shortened my rudder bracket about a ½ inch with these 2 pieces of angle. I threaded it. Okay, and it's basically, I think that's actually going to fall about right. So let's see what the setback is. Let me switch this to inches. So it's a 2-inch setback. Okay, I run this setback. I run a 2-inch setback on my Delta Force 34 Vortex, and it just works with this strut. You know, 1 5/8 to 2 inches, it just works, right? It just works. So so like I said, you have options, and just so you guys know, it's perfectly fine to run your rudder on the right. It's fine. Like, do it. There's lots of hydroplanes and lots of guys that run a rudder mounted on the right. You can mount it on the left. It's totally okay. It's fine. Will the boat handle differently? Yeah, it will. It's basically just personal preference, you know? So, let's find center. Let me quit jacking my freaking jaws. 11 minutes, and I hadn't even done nothing yet. I love talking. You know what? I love teaching. You know, it's not even teaching. It's more of sharing my thoughts and information. Because some of the stuff that I say or talk about could be wrong. So it's not teaching. It's sharing my ideas and opinions to people who may not know or are curious to know, you know. And I really hope me talking my thought process out, I hope it helps you guys. I do. So let's get some holes drilled here. Damn, I'm good. That first try, first go of it, it's dead nuts perfect center. Holy shit, man, that don't happen very often. Look at this. I just made both lines look. It's dead nut center. I didn't have to fumble around and try to find center. It just, boom. That's crazy. And this is the first time I've actually tried finding center on it. That's actually freaking, that'll give you a confidence boost. UL-19 is 30 inches long, 16 inches wide. This boat here is 31.5 inches long. Just say 32. 32 inches long, 15 inches wide. So it's 2 inches longer than the 19 and 1 inch narrower than the UL-19. I'm sitting here debating. You know, my gut, it's telling me to offset the strut. It's telling me to do it. And I've already measured it out here. I would offset it like basically 3.6, 4 millimeters to the right. It's a narrower hull. I noticed it right off the bat when I got it. You know, the length versus how wide it is. I'm, you know, my gut's telling me to offset it to help with torque, you know, roll. We're running 4S, so I would think I would need to prop it up 44, 46 millimeter, depending on the motor. Now, if I run when I'm running that 2400 kV, I would think 44 millimeter would be a sweet spot for it. Running a 2000 kV, I would be able to prop it up on 4S. So, man. Oh, something's telling me to offset it, but my gut's telling me to run it center. Let's run it center. Let's run it center. So let's find center here. So basically, I use my adjustable ruler. I got it marked, and I'm just going to kind of put my adjustable ruler on the outside. Check it here. I actually have my .150 flex cable, 3/16 stub, with an H4 ABC. Okay, this is the prop I purchased for this build, and I'm just looking at this center mounted Popeye rudder on this setup here. You can see the trailing edge is in front of the prop. So for what I understand and have learned over the years, with your leading edge and your trailing edge of your rudder in front of the prop, it actually creates like a little cavity. When the rudder turns, it creates a cavity in the like when the prop's sucking up the water, and it takes away from the propeller. So, or vice versa, the propeller takes away from the ability of the boat to turn with a rudder mounted so far forward of the prop. So like I said, I've actually made me a TFL rudder set back here of 2 inches, and it actually brings the trailing edge almost looks like it's almost in line with the leading edge of the propeller. Okay, so I'll take it off here so you can see. So that actually looks pretty damn close. That looks good. That looks good right there. So now the question is where we want to put the rudder in relation to the propeller. So you don't want it so close that it hits it, but you don't want the rudder so far outboard that it's just going to kind of cause some screwy handling. So I just put some super glue tape on here. It's pretty sticky stuff from Gorilla, I think. Gorilla tape. So I think that looks good right there. That actually looks pretty nice. Took my adjustable ruler, made me a line across the hull here, and I got them set the same height to the top of the bracket. I'm running a 53 millimeter center to center spacing rudder to strut. Okay, and I decided to go to the left. All right, so you look at a full-size hydroplane. Full-size boats make a left turn, so they have their turn fin mounted on the left side with the rudder mounted on the right. RC, with the exception of 10th scale, run their turn fin mounted on the right side and their rudder mounted on the left side. Okay, so I already got my holes marked. About to drill them out. I'm going to drill them tight. I think I am going to do some reinforcement to the inside of this hole before I final assembly. Okay, so I got my turn fin mounted up. Just kind of doing some checking here. Nothing too technical. 0, 0. Okay. So let's see what it looks like, where it's at. Just outside the ride pad. Okay, you guys see that? And then if I run a turn fin that I need to actually put some lean in, the leading edge of my turn fin will be basically on the non-trip ride pad. Okay, like on this line right here. All right, on that brake. So I kind of got the tunnel level. It should be, well, this is loose, so it could have moved setting the boat down. So I turned my level box this way. I did the measurements. I actually used my adjustable ruler because my Mad Lizard ride height gauge, it was just a little bit shy. So running a level tunnel, yeah, it's basically level. You guys see that? On the setup board it's level, but when we're running in the water it won't be level. I usually run this, my strut, about 3 millimeters deeper into the water. Some guys actually like to put the sponsons on like a 3 millimeter block, lift the sponsons up off the deck like that, both of them. They put a block there, and then they level their tunnel out. You know, they level their tunnel out like that. Okay, so about 3 millimeters deeper. Okay, because when you're running, you're not running on the bottom of your strut. the strut's about 3-4 millimeters deeper into the water. It's, you know, the prop is like riding on the center line basically. Okay, so I got it level, close enough for setup sake. Okay, so check out the rudder. You see the rudder? You see how it's got that? You see how it's got that lean in? You can like visually see the lean. Okay, you can visually see it. All right, so what we're going to need to do is make a shim. Okay, so that we can get our rudder straight up and down. The leading edge of our rudder needs to be perfectly vertical. Okay, so 0, and then our transom has a 4 degree, 420, 425 degree angle back here. Okay, so we need to make a shim to compensate that angle so that our rudder sits perfectly vertical. All right, I really wish I would have known this transom had that lean in. I would have cut this bracket right here with the corresponding angle on it, you know, and I don't have any more angle to do that with. Man, that would have been perfect. Just cut this 4 degree angle on my bracket. Golly. So we're just gonna shim it. That's just the easiest way to do it. If you get this boat and you have to make a bracket like I did, go ahead and cut your angle on it. You know, figure out that angle and cut it. Got our holes drilled. That was our goal for this video. Get the turn fin drilled. Okay, so all I need to do now is really reinforce the transom, because this transom is paper thin. It's paper thin. Jim Stone actually, or Jim asked me if this boat needs to be inlaid. Jim, I don't think it needs to be inlaid if you run a light setup. That being said, if you're going to run a heavy setup, I recommend a carbon fiber inlay, or just putting a strip down the center where you're going to mount your electronics. I don't think it needs it for P-limited 4S running, you know. If you're going to throw 6S on this thing or something, I definitely recommend putting an inlay on it. Anything over 60 mile an hour, do the inlay. Anything lower than that, this is going to be a cruiser. I mean, a fast cruiser. You know, the wing's going to slow the boat down. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not expecting to go super fast with this thing, but I am expecting some, you know, some decent speed with it. It's going to be more of like a scale runner, you know. All right, so now you guys can really see what I'm talking about. You guys see how the turn fin's on the inside here. This is my most forward position. And it's kind of set back off the back of the sponson, but I think that's going to be okay. It looks like it's going to be all right. Okay, so I've been kind of doing some setup here. I got my digital level box zeroed out. We'll probably start with this Mojo with a zero, perfectly zero position. Okay, like right there. All right. And that's straight up and down. Okay, you want to make sure your tunnel's basically level. Like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a little bit higher than zero, probably around 0.5 degrees. Okay, so that way it don't pack too much air. So I've actually been doing some tinkering here, just kind of making sure my turn fin is lined up on the inside of the boat. Axel, come here. Hey, bring me that. All right, my son's gonna help me. All right, so you basically get your ruler, put it on your turn fin on the inside of your air trap here. See, it's touching the ruler there. Now move it back here, buddy. Move it back here. Okay, push it up all the way. Nope. Right there. Hold it right there. So I'm actually off 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so I actually have some toe in, which is exactly what I want. Okay, so I have like on my rigger, I run a little bit of toe in on my right turn fin, on my right sponson that tows the turn fin in. Okay, so I designed this bracket so I have less than 1/8 of an inch toe in. Okay, you guys see how I did that? I pulled it right here off the inside of my air trap and got a little toe in on my turn fin, and that's going to help alleviate any prop steer the boat has. All right, well, I hope that's my thinking anyway. So it's ready. All we got to do is make that shim back there, and I think the next video will be installing the motor mount, running the stuffing tube to the strut, so when we paint the boat we can paint the through hole, and we'll go ahead and paint it. And then once we get, oh yeah, we got to put the steering, so we got a little bit left to do before we paint, but it's almost there. It's almost there, man. It looks so freaking cool with that with those wings on it. I just can't get over it, man. I'm so tickled. I'm so freaking tickled that this thing's turned out the way it is. Yeah. Right, buddy? It looks awesome, right? So we'll see you guys next time. You want to say bye?
Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
All right. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time.
What was that bow?
Oh, that looks good. That looks so good.